The first step in being successful is to put on pants. But a lot of people don't want to put on pants. They want to go sans pants. They want to sit in their living room freeballing while they play video games in a pair of gym shorts, watching soap operas. They don't want to go to work because work is hard. I can tell you there is a lot about human behavior that makes me scratch my head. And this puzzles me the most because I like to work. I like to work a lot. I work all the time. I work my ass off. And the reason is it gives me purpose. It gives me purpose. And without purpose, what are you? Without purpose, you're dead. So I wrote an essay on a Substack post recently. Let me just read a little bit of this. Some people truly hate work, which I find bizarre. But then we are back to the beginning where people who don't work are frequently unhappy, but they can never locate the source of their unhappiness. That's because the source of their unhappiness is within. They have no self-esteem because they aren't doing esteemable acts. Self-esteem isn't a feeling, it's the result of an action. You do good, you feel good. You do nothing and you feel nothing, and unhappiness rushes in to fill the vacuum. That's what I said on Substack. And you can sign up for my Substack for free. So you're home, free balling, and you have all the time in the world to do whatever you want, and you're unhappy. How does that happen? And then you have a guy who's working 2 jobs to put food on the table for his family. And he's very emotionally fulfilled. I mean, he's tired, he's exhausted all the time, but he's happy. Now, we just talked about self-esteem. You've heard the term self-esteem before. Of course you have. Self-esteem isn't a feeling. It's not something you're born with. It's the result of an action. You get self-esteem by doing esteemable acts. You do good things, and then you feel good about yourself. And for a lot of people, this is by going to work and creating something of value. There are also people who go to work and don't create something of value. They don't do anything. They just sit there. And they aren't very happy either. I mean, I knew a lot of government employees like this. You know, I had a job in the Coast Guard where expectations were pretty low. And if I wanted to sit there in my cube and stare at the wall for 6 hours, I could do that. And nobody was going to say anything. And you go home and you don't feel very good. You don't feel very good about yourself. You know, there is a reason that rush hour starts at 2:30 p.m. in Washington, D.C. Now, I do feel pretty good about myself. I don't really like being fat, but aside from that, I feel pretty good about myself. And it's because I'm always working and creating things. And it's not just writing. You know, I write all the time, but I create music as well. I love my life. And yeah, I'm tired, but I'm happy. And I am not, this is the key point, I am not afraid of mental exertion. And I have a theory about this. I mean, a lot of people, they have lazy brains. They don't like to think about things. They would rather spend all day sitting in a cube farm staring at the wall, or they would rather spend all day painting. And painting's honest work, but you're not using your brain. Okay. I like to think. I like to use my brain, and our brains are what separates us from the cats. My cats don't do a lot of thinking, although Tars is pretty crafty. You know, the Marxism is like really out of date. The whole Marxist theory on labor is really out of date. There's just not that many jobs where you can work and you can put part A into slot B for 8 hours a day and go home. There's not that many jobs like that anymore because those jobs have disappeared. We've given them to the robots. And then we say, isn't it awful that these jobs have disappeared? And I'm like, no, it's not awful. This is human drudgery. This is terrible work. We want to get rid of these jobs as quickly as possible and have robots do these jobs and have the human beings doing the thinking. But then we're back to square one because there's a lot of people that don't want to think. They would rather put part A into slot B because thinking is hard and it requires mental exertion and people's brains are lazy. That's my theory. Okay. A lot of people don't like to read books. And books aren't a great deal of mental exertion. It's sort of a passive activity. And I don't read a lot of books anymore, mostly because I'm working all the time. But also, the medication I take, it affects my concentration. I can't really concentrate on a book. But I used to be like a book a week guy. I used to read a lot of books. So, Amazon. Let's think about Amazon for a second. Amazon is the most successful company in the world. And how did they get to be the most successful company in the world? They got to be the most successful company in the world by solving problems. Okay, so like a whole range of problems. So computer problems, first of all, coding problems, algorithms, very complicated stuff. But real world problems like warehouses and where do you put stuff and the paths that people take to pick stuff off of shelves. And, there's so much operations research that goes into this. I mean, these are very complicated mathematical problems. And if you're Amazon and you solve all these problems over the course of 25 years, then you get to be the most successful company in the world. And Jeff Bezos gets to have $200 billion because they solved all these problems. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. If you're at home freeballing, playing video games, you're not going to get to $200 billion. You're not going to get to $200,000. No. And I got nothing against freeballing, okay, because I freeball all the time when I'm at home. Gym shorts with no underwear is the best thing in the world. Just don't wear it outside for reasons that should be obvious. I have a tough time being lazy. I can't sit still. If I'm at home and I don't have something to do for 20 minutes, I start freaking out. And then I turn to my wife and I say, I'm bored. I can't stand being bored. I hate it more than anything in the world. I start getting in trouble. And I can't imagine being unemployed for a year. That's insane. And people stay unemployed for a really long time. I can't imagine being retired. What are you going to do with all that time? So I don't get it. Maybe when I retire, I'll produce music, but that's hard and that's solving problems. And maybe that's a good thing to do. But this is really what it comes down to. People don't want to do hard things because a lot of people are not natural born problem solvers. I will tell you that people who work with their hands tend to be pretty happy people. You ever notice that? That people who do manual labor, whether it's plumbing or roofing or something like that, they tend to be pretty happy people. They're not going to massage parlors. They're not going on sugar daddy websites. They are working with their hands and they're getting off their phones and out of their heads, and they're doing something with their hands, and it's this psychological release, and they're happy people. They're tired and they don't have the energy to get into trouble. It's the people who are underemployed or unemployed that have the time and the energy to get into trouble. What's the phrase? What is it? An idle mind is the devil's playground. It's totally true. So I'm going to be done with school around December of this year, and it's going to free up a bunch of time. Like I'm going to have massive amounts of time on my hands, and already I'm thinking about ways that I can use that time. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to teaching at the local university, and my goal is to teach finance and writing at the same time. Okay. I actually had a goal. This is back when I was about 24, 25 years old. And my goal was to bench press 315 pounds and run a marathon in under 4 minutes. Because it was this combination of strength and endurance. And I actually did it. I met my goal. So I want to teach in the business school and I want to teach in the English department at the same time just to show off that I'm left-brained and right-brained. And the thing, a lot of people don't understand this about finance, but finance is really a right-brained activity. It requires a lot of creativity. It really does. So, and by the way, you know how much I get paid to teach these classes? I get paid $3,000 per semester per class. After taxes, it comes out to less than $2,000. So it makes no economic sense whatsoever, but I do it because it's fun and it's my philanthropic work. And my students keep in touch with me. I still hear from students years later. I love to hear the things that they're doing. They tell me what they're up to. Or I could sit at home playing pocket pool, or launching the hand shuttle, or rolling out some sheep meat, or roughing up the suspect, or badgering the witness, or having a dishonorable discharge. I could do those things. Or I could do something productive. You know, I could write a Substack newsletter that goes viral. I could work on my book. That would be something productive to do. Anytime I have free time, I can work on my book, you know. I can do music stuff. I can download tracks, or I can go DJ in my studio. I can even spend quality time with my cats, because I have 6 cats and they all need a lot of love. They need a lot of attention. So sometimes I just take some time and spend time with the cats. But the last thing I need to be doing is a 5-knuckle shuffle or having a staff meeting. Let's just say we should aspire to a bit more out of life. And if for no other reason, then you will make more money. And if you spent as much time thinking about making money as you thought about marching the penguin, you'd probably be pretty rich by now. So stop Lone Rangering, put on your pants, and get back to work. Let's go make some money. Thanks for listening to the Be Smart podcast. I'm Jared Dillian. See you next time.